She scheduled her baby shower on my wedding day. Then made me apologize for being upset. I knew planning a wedding would come with some drama, but I never thought the biggest betrayal would come from my own sister. And I definitely never expected to be the one saying sorry. My name's Jenna, and I got married last October in Charleston, South Carolina. It was everything I dreamed of: sunny, not too hot, and that perfect golden light that makes you feel like you're in a movie. At least, it should have been perfect, if my sister hadn't turned it into a guilt-ridden circus. Her name's Lexi. She's 27, 2 years younger than me, and we've always had that classic older sister-younger sister dynamic. I was the organized one, the type A overachiever. Lexi was more chaotic, the fun one, the wild card. Growing up, I was the babysitter, the tutor, the second mom. She was the drama. Still, we were close until this happened. When I got engaged to my now husband Ryan, I called Lexi first. She screamed, cried, did the whole "I'm so happy for you" thing. She asked to be my maid of honor, and I said yes immediately. Of course I did. She was my sister. I pictured her standing next to me in a blush pink dress, passing me tissues during my vows. I never imagined she wouldn't even be there. Flash forward to 6 months before the wedding. Lexi finds out she's pregnant unplanned, but she and her boyfriend were thrilled. I was too. We went out for tacos, and she showed me the sonogram over queso dip. I teared up. It was genuinely a beautiful moment. But then, 2 months before the wedding, she sends out a Facebook event for her baby shower on my wedding day. I thought it was a joke. I even texted her. What's the real date? She responded. No joke. October 14th. It's the only weekend that works for Jake's family, and I didn't think it would be a huge deal since you're having a small wedding anyway. Small wedding? We had 80 guests. A full venue. Rehearsal dinner. Open bar. DJ. Not exactly backyard and cupcakes. I called her immediately, thinking surely she'd say she messed up or forgot the date. Nope. Jenna, I just didn't think it would clash, she said, sounding defensive. Your wedding's in the afternoon, right? The shower's at noon, totally different vibes. Totally different vibes? As if she hadn't RSVP'd yes to being my maid of honor months ago? Lexi, you're literally supposed to be standing next to me at the altar, I said. How is this not a clash? She paused. Well, I thought maybe I could come to part of your thing after mine wraps up. Part of your thing. That's what she called my wedding. I lost it. I told her she was being selfish, that she was making it all about her like always, and that I couldn't believe she'd bail on one of the most important days of my life for pastel cupcakes and diaper raffle games. She hung up on me. Days passed. Then a week. No apology. No change of plans. And then I got a long-ass text that said, I'm sorry you feel like I'm trying to ruin your day, but I have a lot going on and I wish you were more supportive of me for once. It's not like I'm trying to steal your spotlight, I'm just celebrating something important in my life. You're being kind of selfish right now. I read it about 15 times before I realized what was happening. She wasn't sorry. She was making me apologize. And here's the thing, I almost did. I almost let her convince me that I was being dramatic, that I was overreacting, that maybe my wedding wasn't that important. Because for years, I trained myself to make space for her chaos. To forgive first. To smooth things over. But this time, I didn't bend. After reading that text, I sat on my couch in complete disbelief, my phone still glowing in my hand. She really flipped it. Somehow, I was the selfish one for being upset that my maid of honor had scheduled her baby shower on my wedding day and wasn't planning on showing up. I didn't respond right away. I needed to cool off, so I talked to my mom. Huge mistake. Oh, honey, she said after I laid it all out, you know Lexi doesn't mean anything by it. She's just overwhelmed. Mom, she's not coming to my wedding. Well, she's pregnant. That's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I literally had to stop myself from screaming. Mom, you do realize that weddings are also a once-in-a-lifetime thing, right? She sighed. Maybe if you'd picked a different date. That's when I realized I was completely alone in this. My mom had already chosen a side. And it wasn't mine. I told Ryan everything, and bless his heart, he was ready to go to war. She wants to skip our wedding to play party games and unwrap burp cloths? Fine. That's not family. She doesn't deserve a chair, let alone a speech. But that wasn't the point. I wanted her there. Or at least, I wanted her to want to be there. In the end, I texted her back something calm. Something measured. Something I spent way too long crafting. I understand you have a lot going on right now. But I'm hurt. Deeply. This isn't about competing celebrations, it's about you choosing not to show up for me on a day I'll never get back. I hope your baby shower is beautiful. But I'll be honest, I wish things were different. She didn't respond for 4 days. When she finally did, she just said, "I'll try to stop by after if I'm feeling up to it. Can't promise anything though." That was it. No apology. No accountability. Just a little bone tossed my way so she could tell people she tried. The wedding day came. And to be honest, it was beautiful. Not because of Lexi, but in spite of her. The weather was perfect. The ceremony went off without a hitch. Ryan cried during his vows, which made me cry, which made my friend Ashley cry so loudly someone handed her a napkin from the next row. We danced under string lights, ate too much cake, and closed the night with Mr. Brightside blasting on the speakers while everyone lost their minds. I didn't think about Lexi once until the next morning. That's when I woke up to another text. "Sorry, I didn't make it. I was just really tired and swollen. Hope your day was fun." Fun. Not beautiful, not special, not "I'm sorry I missed it." Just fun. That was when something in me finally broke. Because this wasn't just about one day. This was about a lifetime of making excuses for her. Of being the big sister who gave and gave while she took and never once looked back to see the mess she left behind. And now, she was raising a child. Teaching a whole new person how to treat the people in their life. And I was done letting her treat me like an afterthought. So I responded, "Thanks. It was fun. I wish you'd been there. But I'm realizing now that I've been trying to hold on to a version of our relationship that doesn't exist anymore. I love you, Lexi. But I need some space." She read it. Never replied. And I haven't heard from her since. I thought taking space from Lexi would feel like slamming a door. Loud, final, messy. Instead, it felt like slowly closing a window on a cold draft I didn't realize had been seeping in for years. At first, the silence was unsettling. I kept waiting for the inevitable text, the blow-up, the guilt trip, the late-night emotional ambush she was famous for. But nothing came. Not a single word. No happy Thanksgiving, no Merry Christmas, not even a passive-aggressive emoji reaction on social media. She just vanished. At first, I blamed myself. I'd replay our entire childhood, scanning it like a crime scene. Was I too controlling? Too rigid? Too me? But the truth is, I had spent my entire life being her emotional landing pad, her fixer, her built-in support system. And when I finally needed her to show up for me, just once, she didn't even bother. And yeah, it hurt. But the surprising thing? It also started to heal. Because with the silence came clarity. Without the constant whirlwind of Lexi's drama, my life got peaceful. I went to dinner parties and didn't feel the need to defend my wedding or explain why my own sister ghosted me. I poured all my attention into the people who did show up. My best friend Ashley, who stayed up until 2 a.m. helping me handwrite escort cards. My cousin Lauren, who made the 5-hour drive with a newborn just to be at the ceremony. Ryan, who never once complained when I cried over Lexi instead of basking in the newlywed glow. These were the people who chose me. A few months after the wedding, I got tagged in a photo on Facebook. It was Lexi, holding her baby. A soft pink onesie, tiny hand wrapped around her finger, captioned, "Welcome to the world, sweet girl." I stared at it for a long time. There was no text from her. No thought you'd want to know. No birth announcement, no invitation to visit. Just a public post, same one she sent out to the world. And something about that broke me in a whole new way. Because I realized I hadn't just lost my maid of honor. I'd lost my sister. I cried in the car that night. Not out of anger. Out of grief. I'd imagined being there for that moment. Bringing food. Folding tiny laundry. Holding the baby while Lexi napped. I thought we'd be those sisters who leaned on each other when life got messy, whose kids grew up calling each other cousins and best friends. I thought we'd figure it out, even after the wedding mess. But she didn't want that. Not with me. And for the first time in my life, I didn't try to change that. I didn't comment on the photo. I didn't send a gift. I didn't drive 3 hours to knock on her door with a casserole and a heart full of hope. I let her go. And in that silence, something unexpected bloomed, freedom. Not the dramatic kind. The quiet kind. The kind that looks like waking up without anxiety in your chest. The kind that tastes like sipping your coffee in peace because your phone isn't blowing up with someone else's chaos. I thought cutting off Lexi would be a hard stop. Turns out, it was a gentle beginning. 6 months after the wedding, I got an invitation in the mail. Not from Lexi, from our mother. It was a pastel envelope, thick cardstock, delicate cursive font. An invite to a welcome baby brunch for Lexi and her daughter. Hosted at Mom's house. Finger sandwiches, mimosas, all that. The kind of thing you'd expect to see on Pinterest under classy postnatal gatherings. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I was surprised, I wasn't. Not really. I'd seen pictures from the baby shower she threw on my wedding day. I'd heard through the grapevine that Mom had already been visiting weekly, helping with the baby, making casseroles, playing the doting grandmother. I wasn't included. Not even in the group text. But this invitation? It felt like a test. Like someone trying to see if I'd just pretend none of it happened. And for a second, just a second, I thought about going. About showing up, dressed to the nines, being the bigger person. Taking pictures with my niece, eating cucumber sandwiches, and pretending I hadn't been completely erased from Lexi's life the moment she found something shinier. But then I imagined it. Lexi smiling, smug in that low-key way she always had. Mom buzzing around her like a satellite, acting like this was the real event. Not the wedding. Not the vows. Not the day Lexi skipped to unwrap booties in baby wipes. And I knew I couldn't do it. So I didn't. I sent back the RSVP card with a polite regretfully cannot attend. No explanation. No drama. Just a quiet line in the sand. Mom called 2 days later. You're really not coming? No, Mom. I'm not. She sighed like I'd just told her I'd run over her cat. I just think this would be a good opportunity to heal. Let bygones be bygones. Whose bygones, exactly? I asked. There was silence on the other end. Then, Lexi's had a hard year, sweetie. I almost laughed. Lexi had a hard year? Lexi, who ghosted her maid of honor duties, skipped my wedding, made me apologize, and never even texted when her niece was born. Mom, I said quietly. I had a hard year, too. She didn't have a response to that. I hung up without saying goodbye. That was the last time we spoke for a while. I didn't go to the brunch. I didn't send a gift. I didn't get tagged in any photos. I wasn't part of that chapter of Lexi's life, and honestly, I didn't need to be. Because here's what I realized. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they're entitled to hurt you without consequence. And just because you love someone doesn't mean you have to let them take up space in your life forever. I've stopped waiting for Lexi to come around. I've stopped waiting for a text, an apology, some tearful confession that she realizes how badly she hurt me. I don't think it's coming. I don't think she sees it that way. And I've made peace with that. My life is full in other ways. Ryan and I are happier than ever. We took a delayed honeymoon to Oregon, hiked in the fog, and drank wine overlooking mountains. I've started journaling again. I even joined a local running club. I've reconnected with friends I lost touch with while being swallowed up by family chaos. And most of all, I've learned to protect my peace. To choose myself even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away from people who expect your forgiveness but never earn it. And if that makes me selfish, so be it.